Today we're going to be doing an unboxing for a pretty unique product. This is the MSI N465 GTX Twin Frozr 2 Golden Edition. So this is an all copper design for the cooler. That's one of the big things about this card, but there's a couple other things as well. It's got a 3-year warranty in Canada and the US. It uses their military class concept of components, including their tantalum capacitors, solid state chokes, meaning no buzzing under load for cards that do feature that particular aspect of military class, as well as solid capacitors, which they claim a minimum of a 10-year lifetime for. It does support all of your typical NVIDIA functionality, such as CUDA, SLI, including 3-way SLI, physics, as well as 3D vision, including 3D vision surround. It has 1 gig of GDDR5. It has voltage adjustment via MSI Afterburner software, and I think I was going to say something else. No, I was not. All right, so here's another little outline of the military class components. So here's the no buzz thing I was talking about. So with ring chokes, you can get kind of a high-pitched vibration, or it can sound like a squeal. It's very, very obnoxious. If you've ever had a card that does this, you'll know what I'm talking about. Whereas with a solid state choke, you do not hear it. And I've used a couple of MSI's military class cards already, and I have observed that I do not get any whining noises from them whatsoever. So this is a direct contact. Okay, here we're talking mostly about the cooler. So why don't we take the card out first, and then we'll talk about the cooler while we can actually look at it. That would be better. Ooh, it has a black box. Black box is always nice. Okay, I have to say, first of all, I am quite disappointed. It did say Golden Edition, and it turned out that it was made of copper. So I was really hoping that this card would weigh like, 90 pounds, but it's getting up there. This probably weighs about as much as almost any other graphics card I've encountered. I'd estimate that's at a good 4 pounds for that card. Let's have a look at the accessories that are included. We've got 2 Molex to 1 PCIe 6-pin connector, a mini HDMI to HDMI connector, and another 2 Molex to 6-pin PCIe connector. And then underneath we have some other stuff. We have a quick user's guide, a DVI to HDMI adapter, DVI to VGA adapter, their Afterburner software, and it says, hey, download the latest version right here. That's what to do. MSI's got that figured out. All right, and then what else do we have here? This is how to use their live update software to update your drivers. Okay, cool. So let's get the card out here. Man, this thing weighs so much. That's awesome. Looks like it's using either a reference PCB or a slightly modified one. It's hard for me to say right now because it does have a twin Frozr cooler on it, but you can see on the back it has the hole for the stock fan. So I'm not sure whether they've altered the PCB. I don't have a GTX 465 with me here on the park bench to compare against. I'm gonna just take off this little cover on the PCI Express. MSI does these little covers on everything. That's very unique to them. Okay, so these are individually numbered. I actually don't know how many they produced, but let's take a look. Okay, let's look at the overall card layout, and then we'll look at the cooler much closer near the end. So first of all, this is a PCI Express 2.0 16X card. That's your typical thing. As I mentioned before, you've got support for 2-way as well as 3-way SLI with this particular card. You've got your MSI branding up here on the top with your Twin Frozr 2 as well as your unique number. And then we have 2 6-pin PCIe power connectors. This is quite a power-hungry card because it is based on the Fermi architecture. Let's move around to the bottom. So this is a 4-pin PWM fan that is using a little adapter to run 2 fans off the one header here on the video card. Moving around to the back. Yeah, here we go. Limited offer, number 698. So this is card number 698 out of all of the Golden Edition cards they produced. And on the back, we find a custom I/O shield with MSI logo on it, as well as some other vents for air to come out. And then we've got a mini HDMI as well as 2 DVI ports. Now, this cooler is not going to exhaust all of the air directly out of the back of the case, but it will do some. So you see the fins are actually, okay, here. I don't know how to give you guys a good angle at this thing. It looks really cool, but it's hard to really demonstrate it. Okay, so you see the fins run this way, right? So what happens is when the fans blow down, it means the airflow is either going to go that way or that way. So basically, a small portion of the airflow from this fan will be exhausted directly out of the case. Whereas from this fan, it's all going to end up in your case. As long as you have good case airflow, this isn't going to be a problem. But if you don't have good case airflow, then you can run into a little bit of trouble. And I want to really look at the way the heat pipes are positioned on this cooler, because I think this is really clever. They've got 5 heat pipes directly over the GPU core. So if you look down there, you can see right where the GPU is, right there. And 3 of these are 6mm heat pipes, and 2 of them are MSI's 8mm super pipes. So what the super pipes do is they're positioned at both of the outside edges, and they carry the heat away the furthest from the GPU itself. So what that means is that wherever it's sort of has to cover a much greater distance, they're using super pipes so that you can still take advantage of the copper fins that are over here and over here at the very edges of the cooler. Actually, oh yeah, that's one of the things that they do have on here. Another thing that they're using is a... Oh, what was I going to say? Okay, I'll just say the next thing I was going to say. Okay, so the middle heat pipe, you can see here, goes right to the middle of the cooler. So that one is the one that goes directly over the GPU core, and it's able to take advantage of airflow from both of these fans. And I guess I'll just let you kind of look at this for a little bit, because it's really cool the way that they lay out the heat pipes with all 5 of them carrying heat to completely different parts of this cooler, so that you can really take advantage of this huge copper block. I mean, it's basically a brick of copper on top of this card. Let me see if there's anything else that we should talk about briefly here. High density heatsink, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Oh yeah, I should mention that even though this is an extremely heavy, extremely high-end cooler, it's still only a dual slot design. So you don't have to worry about taking up an additional slot next to your graphics card. Another thing that should be noted, and this is kind of, okay, this is a bit of an odd design choice, but you see the shroud that they've put over top with your serial number as well as the MSI branding? It actually goes back a little bit further than the video card itself. So make sure you've got enough room in your case to install this card, because it is a touch longer than a regular GTX 465. Now MSI claims that this cooler is up to 16 degrees cooler and up to 21 decibels quieter than the stock GTX 465 cooler, and we will take a look at what kind of temps we can get out of it. But I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say. That is the MSI GTX 465 Twin Frozr 2 Golden Edition graphics card.